You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks for tuning in. All right, lots of craziness going on. So we were supposed to get the grand jury indictment of President Trump today, and then, like, out of the blue, without notice, that was dropped. It has not happened. And obviously, things can change at any moment in time, but this is what I think happened, okay? The grand jury are just regular people like us, right? You get called for jury duty, you can get called for a grand jury. My mother was on a grand jury once or twice, you know, and it just happens. The grand jury is not in session every day like a regular jury trial. The grand jury is only in session Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays in this instance, okay? So let me tell you what I think happened. This is my theory, and I think there's a lot of credibility to this.
Because they canceled their meeting today.
I want to tell you what happened, okay?
Yes.
This is what I think happened based on what has transpired since this came out Friday. First of all, President Trump going public with this on Friday on Truth Social is what put the wheels in motion for this to happen.
I guess that was a smart idea after all.
And what happened is I don't know how many scummy witnesses they had, but whoever they were and how many they were, their star witness was Michael Cohen, who the prosecutors wrapped everything around. On Monday, which was the last time the grand jury was in session, on Monday, Costello came in, who was once Michael Cohen's attorney. Michael Cohen signed away attorney-client privilege, and Costello was called in to testify at the request of the Trump team. And we saw him on television. He went on Tucker Monday night. He's been doing interviews. I played the audio on the air. Costello talked about the state of mind that Michael Cohen was in. He was suicidal, that he was afraid of going to prison for the rest of his life, and he named off a whole bunch of people that he told he was suicidal to, because he was afraid he was going to go to prison for years and years and years for all these different crimes that he had committed. And they came to him and offered him a deal, which gave him relief and saved him. He would say anything to save. So I think Costello blew any hopes of this grand jury coming back with an easy indictment of Trump, because Costello put everything in perspective. And Costello even said on Tucker Carlson Monday night that the prosecutors didn't want any of this out there, but he said it anyway in front of the grand jury. So I think the grand jury heard all that. The day was over, and it was time to get back together. And Bragg, the prosecutor in New York, realized that the grand jury was not going to come back with an indictment, and
maybe not.
He's called it off. And the jury, listen, it's a New York City jury, so they're a bunch of liberal jerks and probably mostly Trump haters. But for them to come out with an indictment against a president of the United States after this had happened,
what's the ratio that they
them.
need for an indictment? Is it unanimous?
I don't know. I don't know how it works. It's different. These are different in every state and every place in the country. So I don't know.
I saw when we watched the movie Impeachment, the show Impeachment, they did the Monica Lewinsky thing, and they showed her in front of the grand jury. And I don't know if that's how they all are, but it's really crazy. You're sitting in like at a desk, and you're in front of like a couple dozen people, and they can ask you as many questions as they want, but they're not bringing Trump in front of the grand jury before they decide.
No, and you don't have an attorney. You have no representation when you're in front of a grand jury. It's not like a regular court.
Doesn't Trump get to go in front of them before they make a decision and state his case?
The way grand juries work, the prosecutors get to call the witnesses, no one else, and they get to ask all the questions, no one else, and it's very one-sided. That's why they say that I'm so tired of hearing this. You can indict a ham sandwich. Whoever started that, thanks a lot, So
what is the point of having a grand jury as opposed to...
That's the way the process works, where they come out with an indictment.
Why don't they do that for all cases?
They do it for most of them. They do it for pretty much every case. You just don't hear about it. People don't pay attention that much.
Okay.
So anyway, the grand jury, I think, are afraid to come out with an indictment against the president of the United States.
They might be.
Because these are not sequestered jurors. They're out there in the public. They're watching the news. They see what's going on.
Or talk to their friends or coworkers.
And also, there's been a huge public backlash coast to coast against doing this. It looks like what it is. So now that doesn't mean that they're not going to come back with an indictment. You never know. And there's one question I don't know the answer to. And if somebody knows, let me know. Can Bragg come back with an indictment on his own? Can he charge Trump on his own without the grand jury? I don't know. But I do know
he'd want to do that.
But
responsibility.
I do know this. This change is not because of Bragg. It's because the grand jury isn't going to come back with an indictment, at least not right now. And Bragg doesn't want the grand jury to come back and not give an indictment. So Bragg is delaying this because he can't get the indictment from the grand jury, would be my guess. And obviously that could change. They'll be back on Friday. So we're going to find out. So this is awesome. And I must say that the Democrats have done so much damage to themselves, but the damage that the Democrats have done to themselves over this pales in comparison to what Ron DeSantis did. And Ron DeSantis, if he would have just waited a few more days for this to blow over, he wouldn't have destroyed his credibility and support. Ron DeSantis is done. He's done.
He really should have just not said anything. And
he was celebrating before that victory.
Waited until and
his victory was an indictment of Trump and Trump being arrested.
So he must be freaking out right now.
Well, DeSantis, I had a call on the radio this morning who described his personality to us that DeSantis is conceited.
Something has changed with him, and you noticed it when you when you saw him at Wings Plus. You said there was something in his countenance, his gait, that he just seemed different than normal. And you could see it. It's like something's changed.
This is what I said.
It's so weird.
The way I described it, because I was with the governor the week of the election, right? And I'd been in his presence before, but he was different. And what I told people, and I said, I hate to say that this was like the week of the election. It was the weekend before the election, the Saturday before. I said, he's in love with himself. He's got that look on his face that he's in love with himself. And that's a really, that a lot of times that happens when people become famous. And I'm glad that he did what he did, because now we're on to him. And I feel, and I know a lot of Floridians feel this way, feel betrayed by Ron DeSantis. And Ron DeSantis obviously had been promised by the Bush family and all these creeps and Paul Ryan that Trump is going to be in jail. He's not going to be able to run. They're going to keep him off the ballot in primary states, and you're going to walk in. But what I don't understand about Ron DeSantis is, why was he celebrating the way he was this indictment coming? Why didn't he just keep his cover and pretend to be MAGA?
I don't know.
And he's stepping up to fight the injustice against MAGA instead of coming out as a Paul Ryan Bush guy like this the last couple days.
It's like you're dealing with a different person. It's strange. It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I guess he was just faking all along, and this is his true personality. But it's interesting. Somebody on his team really needs to listen to your shows this week, because you're getting so many phone calls from Floridians that voted for him that are very upset. Mm-hmm. But I think they'll convince themselves that people have short memories, like you said. And by the time the election comes around, if they can successfully keep Trump off the ballot and they only can choose from Biden or DeSantis, they're not going to vote for Biden. But you know what you do? You write in Trump's name. That's what you do. Well, and that's what I'll be doing. No matter what.
Ron DeSantis.
I mean, screw that guy.
I'll tell you, this is crazy, okay? Ron DeSantis is as unpopular in Florida. He's the most unpopular person in Florida today, right? He's the most hated person in Florida. The only other time that I've seen Floridians hate someone so much was Fauci during the lockdowns and shutdowns.
You think it's that bad?
It's worse because people are betrayed. And it's so bad that not only could he not win Florida again, I don't think he could win. He was in the House of Representatives for a few years before he was governor. I don't think he could win his old House district back. If this would have happened,
I think he's done politically.
If this would have happened before the election, he wouldn't be the governor. Charlie Crist, the Democrat, would be the governor right now.
It was like a 1-2 punch with him, like him not helping Trump and then him insulting Floridians. in the same week, I think was just too much for people to handle. I mean, it's like, you know what I mean? I don't know why he said that about his cultural upbringing.
I just don't get why he blew his cover. He could have played along with this and kept the facade going.
He could have.
And acted like, well, they're keeping Trump off the ballot in the Iowa caucus, but I'm going to stand up for Trump. But you know what I think?
I think he's just pissed at Trump.
Let me tell you what's happened.
He just couldn't hold it in anymore.
I'll tell you what's happened. When I was with the governor right before the election, I was in, you guys know we were with him at Wings Plus. He gave a speech at Wings Plus, but I was in the private function where the donors came. I got invited in because I know that I got invited to the private function where the donors are, and I got some of my friends to come in with me, PJ and Irma, Gary's wife, and stuff. Some people they came in, and the people that were inside the restaurant paid big money per person to be inside the restaurant. They paid $500 a person to be inside the restaurant. They paid the campaign. Right. The campaign, $500. And so these are people that are very rich and very connected and go to all the political things, right? Yeah. And pay big money. When DeSantis came in, they were like giddy schoolgirls, okay? So, and these are...
I wonder how they'd feel about him now.
These people were so rich, Kathy. Some of their shoes cost more than a lot of people's cars. I mean, these were really super rich people. And so Ron DeSantis... everywhere he's been going for the last year or so or two in Florida, every time he walks into a room, he's like the most famous man who's ever lived at the peak of their fame, and it's gone to his head. And the other thing that's gone on is his wife has been fantasizing that she's going to be first lady. And when we had the hurricanes hit Florida a few months ago, they hit the Gulf Coast of Florida. Governor DeSantis did something that I commented on at the time because it seemed so strange. This is before I met him at the Wings Plus thing. His wife was heading up the online fundraising for hurricane relief for Floridians, and he kept referring to her as the first lady. Now, I've heard people refer to, Florida's first lady, to governors' wives before. I've never heard a governor of the state of Florida refer to their wife as the first lady.
I haven't either.
And so they were, and then DeSantis's wife has been dressing like, sometimes she dresses like Melania and other days she dresses like Jackie Kennedy. And she's
playing the part already.
She's doing cosplay, first lady cosplay.
I noticed that at his inauguration. She came out, it was in the middle of the day. He was wearing a nice suit. And she came out with the updo and the evening gown and the gloves. And I said to you, she looks ridiculous. I said, she is dressing like she's the first lady of the United States. Yeah. And I said, this isn't like some fancy dinner party or ball. She looked like Cinderella. Mm-hmm. She looked ridiculous. And you kind of scoffed at that. I said, I'm telling you, she is dressing like she's the first lady of the country. Yep. And she's playing that. She's crazy. Like manifesting this. But I got to tell you, I think that whatever's going on with him, and clearly he's the snake, we can refer to now in Trump's poem, and he is a Trojan horse. But now we know, so maybe it's not so much a Trojan horse because now we kind of know. He kind of jumped out of the horse before it got into the city. But I promise you he's taken a hit with his donations this week, in the last few weeks. There is no way he has not taken some financial hit because...
Well, the never Trumpers, Kathy,
you've had dozens
are going to donate now.
Yeah, but I'm saying from the people... I mean, wouldn't that make him nervous, or is he so far up their butts that he can't see, look, my donations are way down from the people. How am I going to get elected here? They're done with me. I mean, he can't be that clueless. I mean, you've had dozens of people call you this week. I'm done with him. I'm not voting for him ever again. These are people that probably have donated to his campaign regularly. He can't be this out of it that he is so out of touch with people that he doesn't see the damage. Maybe he is. Maybe he's just so out of touch now that he's living in that bubble and he just can't see it.
The self-destruction of Ron DeSantis is not complete yet because he did this interview with Piers Morgan that hasn't aired yet. That's tomorrow. And I just, I have just never seen a political...
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that's going to be the three-way punch right there.
I've never seen a political figure self-destruct like this ever. If you think about it, I mean, people have done things that are stupid, right? I mean, like, Gary Condit was having an affair, then the girl got killed, and stuff like this. That wasn't something he did on his own. He didn't kill her. Somebody else did, then he got exposed.
Mm-hmm. That was awful.
DeSantis, in the last 48 hours, has totally destroyed himself politically in a most destructive way. It would almost be like he got drunk and started running down the street naked in the middle of the day in traffic. Be like, that's the governor. I mean, what he's done, is that shocking to people?
The people around him are completely, it's almost like they're insulating him and filling his head with lies. Or maybe this, like I said, maybe this is the way he's always been. He's obviously hyper ambitious, which is fine. You have to be ambitious to become president. But I think he's got blind ambition. I think he's blinded to what's really going on because he is so hyper focused on the prize, like Hillary. That's kind of how she was. She was really out of touch with people because she was so focused on becoming the first female president.
And in a bubble.
And in her bubble, that she really just had no clue how much people disliked her. And that was her Achilles heel, was she just wasn't likable. And now that's going to happen to him.
And the media hate Trump and love DeSantis because they fear he'll undermine Trump. They're not covering. A couple days ago, I'm sure most of you have seen that footage of Fauci going door to door to black people.
That was crazy.
And they reprimanded him and just totally called out Fauci. And Fauci's in shock because he lives in this bubble where everyone sucks up to him all the time.
Yeah, he wasn't happy.
That's what DeSantis did this week. And the interview with Piers Morgan, which President Trump has commented on Truth Social. I'll read his comment here in a minute. It's not complimentary.
I'm sure.
But it's spot on. I've only seen a couple clips of it, so we haven't seen the whole thing. It's going to be on the Fox Nation app, which we have. So we'll watch it. But
that'll be good.
The clips I've seen, he's so snarky and cocky.
When is it going to be on the Fox Nation?
Thursday. Okay, so this is what President Trump posted on Truth Social today about DeSantis' interview with Piers Morgan. This is President Trump. While I am fighting against radical left lunatics, persecutors, and unfair prosecutors who want to destroy us all, Ron DeSanctimonious is not working for the people of Florida as he should be. He is too busy chatting with a ratings-challenged TV host from England, desperately trying to rescue his failing campaign. But it's my fault. I put him there. Now, the other thing with Piers Morgan,
for sure.
This is a double betrayal because Piers Morgan, President Trump made him the Celebrity Apprentice on the Celebrity Apprentice one season.
How many people, this would be an interesting book, how many people have had major career boosts because of Trump, because of books they've written or their association with him in some way? If Piers Morgan had never been on The Apprentice, I don't think he'd be on American TV ever. No, we didn't even know who he was. I never heard of the guy. That catapulted him because he won The Apprentice. That catapulted him and made him very well known in America. I'd never heard of him before, and he was known in England, I guess. But, and then DeSantis, he's right. Donald Trump put him there for sure. He was losing in the primary, and Trump came along and helped him win. I'm sure he's just sitting back and Trump and just shaking his head like, all these people that he helps, and then they turn around and stab him in the back. It just seems to happen over and over again.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it because Trump is a good guy and he is a nice guy, and people that work with him like Kayleigh McEnany and stuff, they're like, people that have met him, they're like, he's nothing like the media tells you. He's super nice. He's amazing. Why do these people all turn on him? What is it? Do they just get offers and get made promises if they turn on him? And I don't understand why they just do that.
With DeSantis, DeSantis, the real question with DeSantis now is, was he ever with Trump or was he always against him?
I think he was always against him.
And he was faking it
from day one.
And he was very good at it because he fooled me and he fooled all of Florida.
Everybody.
And, the thing about DeSantis, if he wouldn't have blown his own cover and he would have kept going along with this and would have stood up for Trump against the prosecutors, he would have been so popular. He would have for sure been the president in 2028, and he blew it because the thing about Ron DeSantis is he fooled us all so much that he can never be trusted again, and he never will be trusted by MAGA voters.
And now, if it's possible that Trump does not get indicted, I hope, I bet Ron DeSantis is not going to be happy about that. He's going to be really pissed. And this is only going to make Trump more popular. Oh, you're just going to have to wait a little longer, Ron, and then good luck then.
Now, this morning on the radio show, I got a call from a lady in Texas who just got her MyPillow 2.0 with the cooling technology a couple days ago. Her and her husband have been sleeping on them for the last couple of nights, and she is just loving them. You know, the MyPillow 2.0 is a major upgrade from the original MyPillow, which it's hard to believe that you could improve upon perfection, but Mike Lindell did it. He's the Thomas Edison of sleep. You know, when Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, they had other light bulbs that they developed after that were better than the original, and that's what Mike Lindell has done here. The cooling technology in the MyPillow 2.0, what it does, it stops your face and head from getting warm or hot. You're the perfect temperature all night, which means that you never turn your pillow over to get the cool side. And when you do that, you wake you up and you interrupt your REM sleep. Even if you don't remember doing it, you interrupt that great night sleep that you have. And with the MyPillow 2.0, you will never flip your pillow over again. Kathy and I each have one. We've been sleeping on it for 3 weeks tonight. This is either our third or fourth week. I've lost track. This is our third or fourth week tonight sleeping on the MyPillow 2.0. Right now, the MyPillow 2.0 is buy one, get one free at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And remember, you can take advantage of all the specials you see at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane, not just the ones that we highlight. We highlight what are my favorites, Kathy's favorites, the must-haves, and what I think are the best deals. But you can actually save up to 80% off of top MyPillow products if you go to MyPillow.com. You'll see that with our promo code Kane. But the MyPillow 2.0, buy one, get one free. It will change your life. Go and order yours right now. Promo code Kane, Kane, and it's buy one, get one free. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for high-quality digital products to enhance your daily life? Look no further than Digitalco by Yaya.etsy.com. That's Y-A-H-Y-A. Digitalco by Yaya specialize in a wide range of digital products that are perfect for any occasion, from stunning abstract art to practical planners and business card templates. They have everything you need to make your day-to-day life more beautiful and organized. Planning a special occasion? Digitalco by Yaya have you covered with a collection of birthday invitations that's sure to impress. With a variety of eye-catching designs to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect invite to make your celebration one to remember. Shopping at Digitalco by Yaya.etsy.com is easy and convenient. Simply browse their collection, add your favorite products to your cart, and check out. That's it. Plus, all of their digital products are available for instant download, so you can start enjoying them right away. Don't wait. Visit Digitalco by Yaya.etsy.com. That's Y-A-H-Y-A. Explore their collection of digital products and add a little beauty and organization to your everyday life. Digitalco by Yaya.etsy.com. If you're an e-commerce seller or aspiring to be one, you'll require assistance from professionals who have expertise in various areas like SMM marketing, digital marketing, SEO, graphic design, web development, and that's just the beginning. At eMars Pro, they employ effective tactics as well as strategies that most brands and retailers are not familiar with. The eMars Pro e-commerce digital marketing consultants will work with you based on the latest marketing trends, utilizing their high level of expertise to deliver results. With over 5 years in the industry, they've served over 100 clients and have a team of over 50 expert e-commerce consultants, handling account management for e-commerce marketing channels like Amazon, Walmart, and Shopify. Their success and growth rate stands at an impressive 99%, and they have a proven track record of effectively handling projects of any size and complexity. Partner with eMars Pro today and let them help you build and grow your e-commerce business. Visit their website, emarspro.com. That's EMARSPRO.com, or call them directly, 682-472-4939, 682-472-4939. Request a free e-commerce audit and schedule a free consultation call. EMARSPRO.com. Get started on your journey to success right now. Are you tired of feeling too exhausted to exercise or complete your daily routine? Let Dr. R. Ahmed's book, Workout Supplements for Men and Women, available on Amazon, be your solution. In this must-read and life-changing book, the author shares his personal experience of struggling with energy issues and how he overcame them with the help of workout supplements. You will learn about widely used supplements like protein shakes, BCAAs, creatine, nitric oxide, and many more, and discover how they can help you be more energetic and more active. Dr. Ahmed's personal success story proves that supplements, along with a healthy diet, active recovery, rest, and a workout plan, can transform your life. Join Dr. R. Ahmed on a journey to living a healthy and more active life. Order your copy of Workout Supplements for Men and Women on Amazon.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Well, also some really great news today. DirecTV has made a deal with Newsmax. Newsmax is back on DirecTV, and
Great news.
Starting tomorrow, they're back on DirecTV, and they've signed a multi-year deal. And this is amazing. Newsmax said in their statement posted on their website that the dispute about financial terms is a common occurrence in the TV industry, and consumers are often caught in the middle, but they've worked it out. So I don't know if it's going to be back on AT&T cable, but it's going to be on DirecTV starting Thursday. So those of you who have DirecTV can get Newsmax again. And that's amazing because Newsmax is the only one American News doesn't count, guys. Okay, they're really not on anything anymore. They're very hard to watch. And I have the One American News app on my phone, but I'm not subscribed. And I don't watch it anymore because I'm not subscribed. But Newsmax is number 4 in the cable ratings behind MSNBC. They are the only cable news outlet carrying the Trump rallies and the Trump events. And that means they're going to end up being number 3 sooner rather than later because we're moving into the election season is really heating up. And now that the indictment's not happening, the rally this weekend that Trump was planning in Texas may be okay. We got to still see about that. But
we should definitely do it.
Yeah.
I wonder, though, and we'll see. I think people's phone calls and canceling of their cable helped because I know a lot of people contacted. What was it, AT&T?
AT&T owns DirecTV.
But let's see if Newsmax carries the rallies now because that might have been part of the deal. They could have made a deal with them saying we won't carry the rallies anymore.
I would
So if
doubt
they
that.
don't have those rallies, then that was part of the deal that they made. I'm telling you. So let's see if they carry the rallies. If not, that was part of the deal they made with AT&T.
What I would like Newsmax to do, though, is they did this on a couple of rallies, and it was really good. They should have a special rally team.
I agree.
Like Right Side does, and follow Trump to every rally and every event and carry it live on a dime.
They were good there.
And really, really, truly carry it. I know a lot of people say, well, Right Side has it. Not everybody knows about Right Side, and not everybody watches Right Side.
No, that's true.
And Right Side broadcasting is very good, but it's not enough. And I'm so glad Newsmax is back on DirecTV. We don't have DirecTV.
We have Comcast.
Yeah, we have Comcast. And the reason that is we had DirecTV years and years ago, and during hurricane season in Florida, it rains a lot in Florida because we're in the tropics. And and when it would rain heavy or there would be a lot of cloud cover, we would lose the signal and it would just drive me nuts.
Yeah.
So we got rid of it and have Comcast, but Comcast has Newsmax on it too.
Yeah.
And the thing about Newsmax is Newsmax puts a lot of pressure on Fox News because the Fox News people know that everyone's watching Newsmax, okay? So when Newsmax covers things and they're not covering them, it puts a lot of pressure on them. And Newsmax, they have whenever there's a Trump rally, they beat Fox News by huge numbers.
Yep.
And I know that those are mostly on Saturday night, and that's considered a slow night in cable news, but that's still, they beat them by millions of viewers whenever there's a Trump rally. And The Trump rallies, as the campaign heats up more and more and more, will be Friday, Saturday, and Sundays every week.
I think Newsmax, now that they're back on AT&T.
Well, I don't know if they're on AT&T cable, but they're on DirecTV.
Oh, DirecTV.
There's
sorry.
two. They have AT&T cable they were taken off of, too. I didn't see anything about them being back on that.
Oh, so they were removed from both platforms.
Yep.
Now they're back on DirecTV. So that's good. I think they really need to up their game. And Greta is a disaster.
Oh, yeah.
I always like Greta, but she is so terminally boring
awful.
on that show.
It's a dead spot.
Sorry. I think they need to, and some of you might disagree with me on this, and she might not even do it, but I think they need to bring in Megyn Kelly. She is really good. I watch her show on YouTube, and I think whatever issues she had with Trump, I think the problem was, because I know she's a very conservative person. I think at the time she was going through that Harvey Weinstein Me Too stuff, right at the time when Trump was running.
Mm-hmm.
And I think any comments he made about women in the past really triggered her because she was kind of leading that movement in the network. So I think she might have a little different opinion now and not be taken so personally. But her show's really good. I don't know if she'd even do a show on Newsmax, but she's a guest all the time. But if they brought her in with like Rob Schmidt, if they put her up against Tucker and then had Rob Schmidt and then Greg Kelly, those three, that would be a dynamite primetime lineup. Have Megyn Kelly at 8 o'clock, Rob Schmidt, Greg Kelly. I'm telling you, she could take on Tucker. She's really good. And if you don't watch her YouTube channel, watch it. She's excellent. She has good guests on too.
You know, there's two big weak spots on Newsmax, Greta and Eric Bolling.
And Sean.
Who's Sean? I'm unsure who that is. Oh, I forgot about Sean Spicer. That's how weak he is.
He's so His co-host is good.
Yeah, he's so weak. I forgot about him.
Get her name in the title.
No, like you on this show, right, Kathy?
Exactly. But Eric Bolling has been a huge disappointment. He's too casual and he's too much into finance and stuff.
To me, I like Eric Bolling, but when I see him on Newsmax.
Yeah.
He seems like he just came back from like a couple martini lunch, doesn't he?
So,
like the Wall Street bar.
But I feel bad. His son died from overdose. And
I like him.
I
like him.
He's better on a format with like the Five.
He's not. You know? Eric Bolling's very good, but he's not a strong enough host to do a show alone.
No,
and he needs an anchor. That's just the way it is.
They could do, and I had this idea before. They could do a show at 5, opposite the 5, and have a panel.
Yeah.
Just like they do on the 5, and have him with 4 other people. And I think that would be really a good idea. They should hire me at Newsmax because I have a lot of great ideas. Don't you think if they did a show like the 5, opposite the 5, and had him with a panel, I think that would really work out well. They need to make some changes there, though.
They got to up their game a little bit and put together.
Bring back Stitchfield.
Put together a team traveling to every Trump speech and rally from now through the election, just like Right Side Broadcasting. In fact, I mean, maybe they could partner with Right Side Broadcasting.
That's not going to happen.
And you don't think so? You don't think Right Side would do that?
I'm sure they would, but I don't think Newsmax would. But Right Side, you got to give them props.
They do very good.
They really, they were in New York the other day, seeing people outside for Trump and everything. They really travel around a lot. And if you ever want to make a donation, I'm sure they'd appreciate it because they do travel a lot and they really do work hard to keep that channel going.
Oh, yeah.
And they have an app, and I don't know anybody there. I know you know Mike. You said he was back with Right Side, Mike Nificent.
Well, this was a weird thing. I think it was it at CPAC? I think it was at CPAC. They ran like a thing for Right Side Broadcasting, and Mike Nificent was in the whole thing. And
you should text him and see what's going on with that.
I should. I thought it might be a touchy thing, but
he's really good.
You know, it was a year ago that the one girl from Right Side died. I just saw a thing online about it. She died a year ago because I've forgotten her name, Miss Alabama.
She was so pretty.
Yeah, she was down in South Beach in Miami, and it might have been spring break that she was down when she died. I mean, that was she was very good. But no, Newsmax. It's
good news. They're back on DirecTV.
Yeah, and Bob Sellers is weak over there too. By the way.
Yeah, I mean they do have some weak people. Heather Childress, who I really liked, she left not for anything bad. She got married and moved to North Carolina or something. So she works for them part-time.
Yeah.
So maybe they could make her part of the Trump rally team and she could just go to a rally every Saturday because she did it once and she was really good. So if they had her being in charge of that team and traveling around every weekend to the rallies, I think that would be really a good idea.
And, I know there's budgeting concerns. Another thing I would do if I were Newsmax is I would take Greg Kelly is my favorite.
He is amazing.
Unfortunately, Greg Kelly, they moved him to 10 o'clock at night and I have to be in bed. And when Greg Kelly was on at 7, we timed the podcast so that we would be done and the podcast would be uploaded and completed before Greg Kelly. And then they moved. That's how good he was. I didn't want to miss it. And they moved him to 10, and I don't watch him as much because I'm in bed by then.
Yeah.
And when I do watch it sometimes on the weekends, but it's always like old news because it's a couple days later or the next day,
You know who I cannot stand, and I'm curious what you guys think. Well, you guys know I don't like Dana Perino, but Jesse Waters has gotten, talk about an ego.
He's like DeSantis.
Worse. He's unwatchable to me. He just so self-absorbed.
Love with himself.
I mean, every segment's about Jesse. I mean, it's just, I can't stand the guy. I mean, he really, I'm sure he always had a bit of an ego, I mean, he's always had kind of that swagger, but it's really out of control. You got to think about it. He's on the 5, which is, I think the 5 beats Tucker now sometimes. So when they brought Judge Jeanine on the 5, that was a really good move. But the 5 is like one of their top rated shows, and he's the center square on that show. He's the main dude now. So he's got a good gig with that. And then he's living the life. And then he has his own show at 7. But tell me what you guys think of Jesse's. He's opposite Rob Schmidt. You should watch Rob Schmidt. He's much better. He's much more professional. He's a real journalist. And he's really good. He acts like a grown man. Jesse acts like a fraternity, a frat guy.
What I would like to see Newsmax do is, obviously have a team that covers all the Trump rallies and speeches.
With Heather Childress.
And those will be weekend-long affairs at not too long from now because he's going to be doing all the time. But what I'd like to see them do is take their top programming during the week, Rob Schmidt and Greg Kelly, and that they have 5 shows a week, so that's 10 hours, and rerun them like all day on Saturday.
That's a great idea.
Because listen, they got a lot of stuff on Saturday and Sundays with people I've never heard of that are good and interesting, but they're not Rob Schmidt or Greg Kelly. And if they ran Greg Kelly and Rob Schmidt all day on Saturday and all day on Sunday from their week, that would really boost what they're doing over there. And I really want Newsmax to succeed, and I promote them a lot. I really do promote them a lot because I like them a lot, and I want them to succeed. This is something. Dick Van Dyke got into this car accident. I always wondered, is that name kind of like a joke, Dick Van Dyke? Those are some words.
That's his name.
Those are words that don't typically go together if you think about it. But anyway,
why? I don't get it. Oh, because
you don't. Exactly. If you have to explain the joke, it's no good. But it's true. But
I get you now. I never thought of it that way.
But Dick Van Dyke, because he had this car accident today, I looked him up and read his Wikipedia just to find something out about. He's 97.
He probably shouldn't be driving.
Well, listen to this.
God bless him.
Listen to this. He's a Bernie Sanders guy.
That doesn't surprise me.
And I could be wrong about this, but Dick Van Dyke always seemed kind of sleazy to me. Kind of swarthy.
Really? He's got a really good-looking son.
Yeah. So listen to this.
Handsome. Barry, his name is.
Listen to this. Dick Van Dyke endorsed Bernie Sanders in the 2016 Democratic Party presidential primaries. In July 2016, while campaigning for Bernie Sanders, Dick Van Dyke said of Donald Trump, "I haven't been this scared since the Cuban Missile Crisis. I think the human race is hanging in a delicate balance right now, and I'm just so afraid he will put us in a war. He scares me."
Oh, how does he feel about Biden now putting us in a war? Is he cool with that?
No, again, in 2020, Dick Van Dyke again endorsed Bernie Sanders. So Donald Trump kept us out of wars, but I'm looking him up here. No, his name is, Richard Wayne Van Dyke. So that's his name, Dick Van Dyke.
Well, I don't think it takes a lot of guts to endorse someone who's never going to win.
Yeah, that really.
I mean, endorsing Bernie Sanders, big deal. And the reason they do that is because they think it makes them look like these environmentalist heroes, but they're safe because the guy's never going to win ever. So that doesn't take too much bravery. Pick somebody that's actually in the running and take a chance instead of endorsing someone that nobody votes for. That's like endorsing Kamala. Who cares?
I really don't care anything about celebrities or actors. When I was younger, I was into celebrities.
Yeah, I don't either at all.
Yeah. And I was into celebrities when I was younger. There's no doubt about it. And
you outgrow it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I certainly don't care what they think.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
They live in a totally privileged world that they're so out of touch with real people and real people's you think they worry about the price of eggs?
Well,
or paying their bills? They don't even pay their own bills. They have people that do that for them.
Dick Van Dyke, I don't know what his financial situation is, because at the peak of his fame, celebrities didn't make the kind of money they make now, but I'm sure he's okay. And what you have a lot of times with celebrities is you have a lot of liberal guilt. They have success. They have wealth. They don't have worry. They have money, and they support socialism. Well, I got news for Dick Van Dyke and all these other Hollywood millionaires and stuff like this. They could take zero deductions on their taxes, and I promise you, Dick Van Dyke and all these other people take every deduction that the law allows, like any normal person would. Yeah. But why? If they believe that socialism is the way, why not just take zero deductions and pay as much as you can?
Because liberals are hypocrites, that's why.
They really don't walk the walk.
The last thing, and he's very talented. I mean, I love
Dick Van Dyke.
I love Mary Poppins. That's like a classic. And he was good in, what other movie was he big in? I know he had a show.
I like Mary.
The last thing I saw him in was Night at the Museum.
I like really Mary Poppins, but not the parts with Dick Van Dyke.
Why?
I just think it's kind of corny. I'm not a big Dick Van Dyke fan.
I like him.
No, I'm not a big fan of his. No, I'm not a big fan of his. No, not at all. I never was. But, I don't have anything against him. But I do question his sanity if he's out there working and endorsing Bernie Sanders.
I'm glad he's okay. And if he was driving, he should not be driving. He's too old to be driving.
Yeah. Now, listen, we're going to take our last break. When we come back, there's a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Back after this.
Are you tired of bad hair days? Or are you struggling with hair loss? Ready to Hair Wigs has the perfect solution for you. Their faux human hair wigs are made with the best Japanese synthetic fibers, ensuring a natural look and feel. They come in different lengths, colors, and styles, and can even be cut to fit your desired style. Plus, they're ready to wear right out of the box. If you want to change up your look, Ready to Hair Wigs are perfect for that too. Use them as an outfit accessory and take your style to the next level. The wigs are heat resistant, which means you can style them to your heart's content without worrying about damage. Ready to Hair Wigs believe that every woman deserves to feel confident and classy, no matter what. That's why they offer their wigs at affordable prices. So head over to readytohairwigs.com. That's READY, the number 2, HAIRWIGS, readytohairwigs.com. Find them on Instagram and Facebook at readytohair_wigs. Start your wig journey today. readytohairwigs.com. Are you searching for something in your life but can't seem to pinpoint what it is? The Seventh Sense from author Julie LeBraden, available now on Amazon, could be the answer you're looking for. Join Diego as he embarks on a journey of self-discovery and liberation in a dystopian world where every form of human expression is taboo. In this thought-provoking novel, the author's writing explores the consequences of progress on society and emphasizes the importance of embracing life's full spectrum with themes of freedom, human consciousness, and emotional intelligence explored through a prism of neurodiversity. The Seventh Sense challenges readers to break free from the constraints of a regulated society and discover the kaleidoscopic facets of human experience. Order your copy of The Seventh Sense today and awaken your sense of liberation. The Seventh Sense from author Julie LeBraden, available on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. Order your copy right now. Attention all crypto investors and NFT collectors. Help make a positive impact on our environment with the Save Your Rhinos NFT collection. Brought to you by Newverse Center. Newverse Center is an established environmental company using Web3 technology. They're focused on contributing to environmentally friendly and humanitarian-focused projects. They are working to provide support to stop the poaching and habitat destruction of rhinos. The Save Your Rhinos NFT collection is your key to enter the Newverse ecosystem ecosystem and enjoy the benefits they provide for creators in the arts, business, and technology fields, all while doing their part to creating a healthy environment. Don't miss your chance. Grab a Save Your Rhinos NFT and visit newversecenter.com to learn more. newversecenter.com.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Now, I mentioned something earlier this week on Monday, and I talked about it a little bit on the radio show on Monday, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit more now. And something happened, and I talked about it a little bit, but because of all this business going on with President Trump, I haven't had time to focus on it. Mark Levin, on his Sunday night show, which I never watch, and I didn't watch it this Sunday, I saw this part on Twitter. Someone posted this to Twitter, and I watched it. He did a whole segment on why we have to be involved in the Ukraine-Russian war. And he started off by saying, he's talking to the audience, he says, I never talk down to you. You're very smart. You're very this. You're very that. And then he proceeds to talk down to them about the French helping the United States in the American Revolution. And he said the French helped us in the American Revolution, and France went bankrupt over helping us in the American Revolution. And we've got to, but they were standing up for democracy, and we've got to do the same in Ukraine. Well, first of all, Ukraine's not fighting for democracy. Zelensky has outlawed opposition political parties and the Russian Orthodox Church, so there's no freedom of religion. But the French were not supporting us because they supported democracy. They still had a king. Okay, they were supporting us before the French Revolution. That French Revolution happened after.
Yeah. We inspired, by the way.
Yeah, the only reason the French were supporting us is because they were constantly at war with England.
They hated England,
and they wanted England to be distracted here, and they had just lost the
which worked. They used all their resources, and
the French had lost the French and Indian War to the British, and Mark Levin called it the 7 Years' War. The French and Indian War is also called the 7 Years' War, but it's called the 7 Years' War by British people. Very rarely do you hear it called the 7 Years' War in America. And there's a few things I want to talk about with this. I'm hearing him talk about how we need to go to war over there and support Ukraine. Mark Levin's not going, okay? He's not going. That's what you call a chicken hawk. And I've become a very anti-war person. And I was talking to Kathy. Kathy and I were watching a very old movie from the 50s last night, Dunkirk, not the new Dunkirk. This one was made in the 50s.
In England.
Yeah, it was a British movie. And,
very good.
And I studied Dunkirk and everything when I was in college and all that stuff. And I know all about the miracle at Dunkirk. And I know we got a lot of people in this audience in the UK. And and it's really one of the most anti-war movies I've ever seen. It was made in the 50s. It's very unusual. But I was talking to Kathy. I felt so bad for these British soldiers. But I was talking to Kathy, about the wars we've been in. I'm not talking about World War II. I'm talking about the wars that have happened within our lifetimes. And Kathy and I were born during the Vietnam War. So we have had in our lifetimes, I'm sure there's some small skirmishes in between, but we've had the Vietnam War, Gulf War I, Gulf War II, right, with Iraq, with Bush, the war on terror.
The Cold War was still going on.
Yeah, Ukraine, it's going on now, they're getting us into. I want to ask you guys this, is there a war that we have been in since Vietnam till now that was avoidable? All these wars we're in now are so that the big donors, the military-industrial complex, can make a lot of money. And that's what's going on in Ukraine. And I know a lot of people say, well, what do you mean about Afghanistan? You mean to tell me that obviously we had to go after Osama bin Laden and al-Qaeda. We had to have a 20-year war to take down these medieval people that didn't even have electricity and indoor plumbing. We had a 20-year war, and we still didn't win because the Taliban have Afghanistan again. We could have bombed the daylights out of Afghanistan without invading until we either killed bin Laden, wiped out al-Qaeda, or they gave them to us.
That's what Trump would have done. He would have had it done in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But, I have to question Levin's logic. First of all, we're not defending France. We don't owe the Ukraine anything.
Exactly.
I mean, they didn't save our ass during the revolution or any time. When has the Ukraine ever helped us do anything? Not that that should mean anything, but that was the example he's using. Well, the French helped us. Yeah, but this isn't the French. And we helped the French during World War II. And that might have had a lot to do with it. Of course, we had to stop Hitler. But, we helped the French. The British helped the French. Sometimes you look at us with Japan. I mean, we bombed their country not that long ago, and now they're like a major ally. And if they were ever in trouble, I think America would go help them. I really do. But the Ukraine, the only connection, I'm not saying we shouldn't help these people, but I don't think this is a legitimate thing that needs to be helped at all. I think this was a civil battle.
A civil war.
That we should not have been involved in at all. And Zelensky to go around demanding money and demanding almost like a draft for us to go and fight for him, to me is insane. I think he's as crazy as DeSantis is now. They're like mad with power and blinded by their own ambition. But these liberals just throw money at all these people. I mean, they just throw money at them like it's never ending. And I don't get it.
Well,
they're in love with this guy.
When I was watching this Dunkirk movie with Kathy last night, we have Tubi, which has all kinds of old stuff.
Oh yeah, that's a great app.
Tubi's pretty cool, and they've got a 24-hour Star Trek channel on there, which I like. But we watch old movies and stuff on there all the time on Tubi.
Yeah.
And there were a couple 100,000, maybe 500,000 British soldiers stuck over there in Dunkirk.
I didn't realize there were that many.
And the British government are ready just to leave them there and sacrifice them, And what goes on in these wars, they don't care about the people in the service.
No,
they don't care. They think these people are so rich. Look at how corrupt our government is. As corrupt as Biden and the government is, we're seeing this now. Mm-hmm. It's always been that way.
Well, Brian, they used to
hide it.
Their job is to sacrifice their life for their country. So to them, that's why they're there. So it doesn't matter.
You don't go off to war to die. The hope is you come back.
That's not how they see it.
But the government has always been this corrupt.
Yes.
They just hid it from us in the past. Now they're out of the closet about it. And they just think that people that are not in their circle, in particular military people, are just uneducated, stupid trash, and their lives are meaningless. And they have no problem leaving you on a beach in Dunkirk or sending you off to fight Russia. And now that Russia has had, Putin had this big summit with the Chinese this week.
That's scary.
When the way that the media in this country and the warmongers are trying to portray is that Russia's alone. Russia's not alone. They're allied with other people. They're allied with Iran, and Iran backs all the big terrorist organizations in the Middle East, right? Mm-hmm. They're really tight with China, which is not only a nuclear power. China manufactures everything. So now Russia will not be short of anything. They'll have all the goods they need from China. All our stuff comes from China. Now Russia's will. No. And
we need Trump to fix all this. This is a mess.
Well,
we're in.
That's right. Well, one of the reasons that they're after Trump to indict him is because he's going to end this war before it gets started, and they want the money now.
And he's going to end the dependence on China.
Now, before we go, I first want to thank our Patreon supporters, and I want to have a few final thoughts, okay? Now, all of you that are Patreon supporters, thank you so much for your support. And when you become a Patreon supporter and you become a patron of the program, of course, Kathy and I very much appreciate it, and it does help us out a lot when you support the show as a patron. But you also, patrons, have access to commercial-free editions of each and every one of our podcast episodes. And the way you access that is you go to the Patreon page, and I upload the commercial-free edition right there when we're done with the podcast every day, okay? Yeah. Our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every podcast episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Rome, Wisconsin, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, and our newest top Patreon supporter, Arctic Fox. Welcome. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the episode description on whatever platform you're listening to us on. And there's also a direct link on my website, briancraigshow.com. But the direct website to our Patreon page is patreon.com/real Brian Craig Show. Patreon.com/real Brian Craig Show. Now, there was an amazing happening this week. The latest poll that came out, the Morning Consult poll came out today. President Trump had a 28-point lead over Ron DeSantis. 28-point lead over Ron DeSantis. And by the way, that's after all this stuff that happened this week.
It's going to get even bigger after Ron DeSantis opened his big fat mouth.
And what's going to happen, Ron DeSantis is in big trouble. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen to Ron DeSantis, okay? The reason they were going to arrest Donald Trump is many, but one of them is that he's been in double-digit leads in all the polls, right? We were talking about this earlier in the week, and the president even talked about that as well.
Yeah, he said that. He said that's why.
Yeah. And Ron DeSantis, now that he's at his lowest point ever in the polls, President Trump has a 28-point lead. He's blown his cover, and people that are in the MAGA movement have turned on him. I'm going to make a bold prediction. These Jeb Bushies and Paul Ryans are going to drop him at some point. Yeah, they're going to drop Ron DeSantis.
To somebody else?
And Ron DeSantis is going to still be our governor for 4 more years, but that's going to be it for him.
I think he'll
be a pundit on Fox or something.
He's done politically.
Yep.
And I don't think he'll ever win Florida in any election. And I don't think he could win the presidency these days.
Let me tell you what's going to happen.
I mean, Florida's got a lot of electoral votes.
I predicted this when I got his book, because I got that book. I didn't get past page like 89, okay? I was so upset by it. And I was reading passages from the book on the radio and everything, and people were like blown away by it. Remember that a few weeks ago? And in fact, our Ron DeSantis book is on the floor in the back seat of our car because I took it to the radio station to read from it, and I
did something worse,
and I tossed it in the back seat.
That picture we have of him with his family on the fridge, I threw it in the garbage today.
Yeah, was that a Christmas card we had?
Yes, I threw it in the trash.
We had a Christmas card from Governor DeSantis. You threw it away?
Yep.
It's in the garbage?
Yes, it is. I'm so pissed at him.
Really?
The thing with the Floridians really made me mad. I was like, F him.
I knew the refrigerator looked different.
Yeah. I threw it in the trash. I'm mad about the
Trump.
Kathy. But I'm really mad about him insulting. I'm a Floridian. I took it very personally. So those two things, and then him going on Piers Morgan saying that if he runs, it's going to be against Biden and he's going to win.
Wow.
I'm just really so disappointed, and I'm so mad at him and his first lady wife. And let me right in the garbage.
And let me tell you, you guys out there, because I don't know if we've talked about this, but that was a real Christmas card we got from Ron DeSantis. Yeah. And it's been on our refrigerator. We got it last Christmas.
Yeah, for a year and a half.
And we've kept it up there, and you threw it in the garbage. You didn't throw it in a drawer. You threw it in the garbage can?
In the trash.
Well, I took the trash out.
Well, it's gone.
It's on the curb. The trash is coming tomorrow.
That's right.
Oh, my goodness.
And now it's going to be in the dump heap.
Oh, my goodness.
And then it'll be incinerated. I'm just so pissed off right now.
I guess so.
But I never thought that would happen, but he really has just shown his true colors. And he's really, I feel that it was a big snow job.
Well, okay. Now
that we were kind.
So let me tell you what I think is going to happen here. Okay, that's pretty funny, Kathy. So
I can't help it.
So I believe that the Bushes and all are going to drop him.
Maybe
we do not have a recall situation possible in Florida. You hear about people recalling governors in different states. We don't have that system in Florida. But that doesn't mean that people are not going to start petitions. Like
Laura Loomer should start one.
Yeah, there will be. I'm going to call Laura Loomer because I owe Laura Loomer an apology because she's been going after DeSantis for a while, and I thought she was like getting crazy, and I was getting upset with Laura Loomer. I even had her on the radio a couple weeks ago, and she started trashing DeSantis, and I got away from. And remember when she got tossed out of that DeSantis book signing? I had Laura Loomer on the show, and I'm like, I don't know, Loomer, and Laura Loomer was right. But anyway, there are going to be some petitions, and I'm going to talk to Loomer. I'm going to call Loomer and suggest she do that are recall petitions.
Yeah, that would
DeSantis.
Be a good thing for her to do.
Even though they'll be meaningless, people will sign them like mad. Agree. And here's what I predict. I predict Governor DeSantis will resign before he finishes his term.
No way.
And take a big job like at Fox or something. Yeah. Because he
idolizes Paul Ryan. Maybe he'll give him a job.
He's got nowhere to go now. Listen, in Florida, we have term limits. You can only be governor twice. And our senators are pretty entrenched. We got little Marco, and then Rick Scott, our other senator, was the governor before DeSantis.
He became senator.
He is very popular. He was a very good governor. He saved us during the hurricanes. I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah, he's popular.
But he was amazing, Rick Scott. So he has no hope of running for the Senate because those guys are locked in. His VP and presidency hopes are gone. So he's going to have to
really screwed the pooch.
He's going to have to broker some financial security for the family while he can.
Yeah, he's not that rich.
And no, people aren't going to be buying his books anymore. Yeah, except
it's just amazing how he has destroyed his political future in such a short time.
So I just want to end on this note. I'm making this prediction that Ron DeSantis will not complete his term as governor. He will resign to take a job somewhere because he's got to support his family. His wife's got to pay for those Melania Jackie Kennedy gowns, and he's got a big family. So he's going to have to get a job in the private sector. And once when you're an elected official and you're out of office and you're not electable anymore, you can't get these jobs. So he's going to have to broker a deal. You know what he might end up doing? This will sound crazy, people. You guys are going to think I'm nuts when I tell you this, okay? And I thought this earlier in the show, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to say this yet, okay? I waited till the end for this. Ron DeSantis, this is a very important thing, okay? He's no longer electable. This is it. This is his last elected office.
I agree.
Unless he runs as a Democrat in some Democrat district.
He could be like Charlie Crist.
No, Charlie Crist can't get elected either.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But so I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen, and you guys no one's going to believe this, but we'll find out. Okay, at some point. So, as I said, Ron DeSantis is going to resign to take a job in the private sector before his term is up. And the reason he's going to do that is he'll be able to use his influence as governor to do a favor to some company to give him a big job.
Right.
I think he's going to end up on the board of directors of Disney. I think he is going.
That's insane.
I think DeSantis, when it sinks in that he's done politically,
no way.
He is going to broker a deal using his power as governor over that, giving them their government back. He took Disney away from them. He's going to make some concessions to Disney as governor, and they're going to pay him off by giving him a fake job on the Disney board of directors, paying him a boatload of money.
That would be something.
I'm telling you, it sounds crazy.
Well, he idolizes, like I said, Paul Ryan, and he'll just follow
That's what Paul Ryan did with Fox.
Ryan was a loser and couldn't win his own state.
That's right.
And left politics to take a big job. But I don't know what's going to happen to him because he's kind of put himself in a bad position.
Yeah.
Because people on the left don't like him. They think he's a bigot, and the whole gay thing and the drag queen, that's really a big issue with him, and they don't like him for that. And the taking out of CRT and all that in schools, they hate him for that. They think he's, anti-black and anti-gay. But now the conservatives don't like him because of Trump and because they feel he's betrayed him. And the majority of conservatives still love Trump. I mean, he probably still has a 90% approval in the party. They just did the CPAC poll, and he was
double digits there too,
by 40 points ahead of him. So I think he's just really put himself in this really bad position. You're right. With the indictment, he should have kept his mouth shut and waited. But he ran his mouth, and I think a lot of it is he was really waiting to attack Trump because I think he's really pissed off at him now.
Well, listen, we're out of time, but you guys let me know in the comments. My prediction is Ron DeSantis, it hasn't sunk in yet, but it will. When it sinks in that he will never hold elected office again, at some point he will resign from governor to take a job in the private sector, won't finish his term because he's got to use the power of the governor to make a deal with the company to hire him. And Disney, he'll end up on the board of Disney, which is a high-paying job, just like Paul Ryan is on the board of Fox. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Let me know what you think about all that stuff in the comments. We'll talk to you next time.
Are you in need of a little self-care and relaxation? Create a cozy mood and unwind with irresistible fragrances from candlesinjunk.com. That's the letter N. Create a cozy mood and unwind with irresistible fragrances from candlesinjunk.com. That's the letter N. They feature a wide variety of scents and products to keep you warm and cozy. Stocked with candles, bath bombs, lotions, essential oils, and more, you're sure to find the perfect match for any occasion. With unbeatable prices, fast shipping, and high-quality candles, there's something waiting for everyone at candlesinjunk.com. They also make great gifts for the candle lover in your life. Don't settle for plain, boring candles and the same old scents. Experience the fun of comfort and relaxation with products from Candles in Junk. That's the letter N.com. Candlesinjunk.com.